There's never been a better time to be a beer lover in America. A multitude of styles and brands are flooding shelves, hitting taps, and joining menus and restaurants all around the country. However, as a total volume of beer made in America, craft beers only make up about 12%. That means there are a whole lot of drinkers out there who either haven't tried craft beer before or choose not to drink it. And although growth has been astonishing for craft in the U.S., in recent years that growth has started to slow. And many in the industry are saying it's time for craft to attract a new batch of customers. And that's what this show is all about. Welcome to Turning Craft. I'm Jeremy Fultz, founder of Brew Studs and editor of wearebrewstuds.com, a website dedicated to the amazing world of craft beer and brewing. In each episode of Turning Craft, we're going to take one non-craft beer drinker, and through a series of amazing experiences, we're going to turn them into a craft beer drinker. We're here today at Lucky's Tap Room and Eatery in Dayton, Ohio, one of the pioneers of the Dayton craft beer scene. Let's go inside and meet our first potential convert. We're here with Jared today, and Jared's my brother and our first convert on Turning Craft. You're definitely not a craft beer drinker.
Definitely not. I do not like the taste of any kind of beer whatsoever. If I do drink beer, it's commercial light beer in the bar trying to get drunk, and that's it.
So, but for today, are you willing to kind of go outside of your comfort zone and try some beers that you normally would turn away?
Yeah, I'm willing to taste anything. I'm willing to try anything, see if I like it.
All right, good. So you ready to taste some beer right now?
Yeah, but I'm gonna warn you, I'm probably not gonna like it.
So Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're drinking here today?
So that is the Cafe Racer 15 from Bear Republic. It's a double IPA, so it's going to be a little more bitter, slight citrus notes.
Why don't you give it a taste? Pretty big gulp there. What you think?
It's very, I can taste the citrus in it, but it's very bitter and kind of hopsy.
Yeah, hoppy.
Yeah, but hoppy, whatever you want to say.
So what a lot of people mean when they say too hoppy is that they're overwhelmed by one of the three hop-provided characteristics in beer. Hops are used in beer to add bitterness, to balance out the sweetness of the malt, but they're also used for flavor and aroma. What a lot of folks say when they first try a beer like an IPA is that it's too hoppy. What they probably mean is that it's too bitter for their taste.
But I don't really like it now.
Would you order that beer if you were out?
No.
Definitely not?
Definitely not.
Let me taste it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, it looks like we struck out here with Jared, but I think I deserve some more chances, and there's a lot more beer to try. Jared, are you willing to hit some more spots?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, well, let's go to the next place then.
All right.
In 2016, the American craft beer industry sold $23.5 billion in beer and employed over 130,000 people. In fact, in Ohio in 2015, craft beer had an economic impact of over $2 billion. And craft isn't just having an impact for itself. It's creating an entirely new cottage industry and having a huge economic impact on state and regional tourism. A good example are the brew tour buses that are popping up all over America. You can take a brew tour to see your city's entire beer scene while staying safe and learning more about what you're drinking. There are over 5,300 breweries in America, 99% of which are small and independent, or what we call craft brewers. We're here today at one of Dayton's oldest craft breweries, Warpling, to see if we can't give Jared a broader drinking experience and give him a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into the beer to give him a better appreciation for it. We're at Brewing Brewery in Dayton, Ohio. We're about to meet with brewmaster John Haggerty, who's going to show us around the brewery and give Jared a behind-the-scenes look at how beer is made. How you doing, John?
Good. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
This is Jared. So we want to get a look and feel for what you guys do here. We want to show Jared, who's really new to beer, everything that goes on behind the scenes. So can you show us a tour today?
Absolutely.
All right, great.
What we're going to do is we're going to take the malt and we want to crush it in the mill. So we want to be able to access the inside of the malted barley kernel. And then when we're ready to start brewing, the brewer will open the slide gate, start to drop it into this tank, which is called the mash water tank. And the thing is, and we'll talk about this when we're tasting some beer, you know, we're all to some degree or another victims of this because we grew up watching television. Television has been brainwashing us via Bud, Miller, Coors to think that beer is all supposed to be light in color, light in flavor, and super ice cold, right? In fact, not taste like it. And then when you go to craft beer, you have a disconnect, right? If that's what your perception of beer is supposed to be, that's what you think it is. If someone hands you an IPA, that doesn't match up. But I thought you might want to try some malt real quick. So we got these out. You can eat a couple of those if you want. So it's not like eating a candy bar sweet, that's got a little sweetness to it, right? That's where all the sugar's coming from. And then depending on how they kiln the malt, you know, you're going to get different colors. If you try that one, it's going to be a little roastier. So we can mix and match that stuff. Get different colors, different flavors. What sort of flavors do you typically like? I mean, whether you're drinking beer or not.
Well, let me tell you this. He had an IPA over at the last place. He didn't really care for that too much.
Yeah, I don't like the bitterness.
So you want stuff that's lower in bitterness.
Yeah.
You like stuff that's fruity. You like sweet. You like. Are you a coffee fan?
No, I'm not a coffee fan.
You don't like coffee.
So, yeah, nothing too strong, nothing too bitter. Citrusy taste is okay to me. The sweetness is okay.
I want you to close your eyes, okay? Because I don't want you to see it. Because sometimes color will sort of put a preconception of whether you're going to like it into your mind or not. All right, so close your eyes.
Our Father, who art in heaven.
All right, now put this in your hand. Don't open your eyes. Smell it. It's going to be a little bit sweet.
I like that.
So that's our Night Velvet, which is a Belgian style strong ale or Belgian quad. We put plum in it.
I do like that.
So the Belgian yeast will give it a fruitier flavor profile, and of course, because we're putting plum in it as well, that adds to that fruitiness, plus it puts a little extra sweetness into the beer from the fruit juice. And then it's a really low hop bitterness content on it, right? So here's the thing, right? And my wife wasn't a beer fan either when I met her, which of course was an issue. And so we went through the same exercise, right? And so once we found a beer that she liked, it's like, okay, you can no longer say you don't like beer, right? So that statement is now dead, all right? Spicy aroma to it. Super.
It's not bad. It doesn't have the bitterness that one does. I can live with that one. I wouldn't say that I prefer that, but it's not bad.
I want to go back down to the, go back to the bottom. Start over.
Is this an IPA?
Yeah.
I like that. It's real mild.
Yeah. So that's our lager beer, right? So
It's not bitter at all. Yeah.
No, not bitter at all. It's only like 10 IBUs, right? So we got that. We got the Belgian Pale Ale, which is an experimental hop, and we've got the Night Velvet, which is probably your favorite out of the three that you've tried based on the reaction it's got. But we've tried 4 beers, and you've liked 3 of them.
Yeah, so we can scratch off the Belgian Strong. We got a Belgian Pale, and now a craft lager.
Yeah.
So 3 craft beers that you've eventually liked. So Jared, we found out that you actually do like a few craft beers. So I think what we need to do is harness this feeling that you have right now, get you a little bit more of an education, and get your hands dirty on more of a personal experience in brewing. How you feel about that?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, man, let's do it.
Let's go.
There are over 1.2 million homebrewers in America today. That is roughly 1 in every 200 adults that are making their own beer. So we came here to Steve Peronsky's house to let him give us an instructional in homebrewing today.
So yeah, I've been brewing for about 10 years. I originally started, like most home brewers, on the kitchen inside, and then eventually invested, and now I'm using a rim system. It's more similar to what the big breweries are doing, but not on as big of a level as you guys would have seen earlier today.
Yeah, so Jared did get to witness brewing on a large scale with a professional brewer today. And now we want to let him get his hands dirty. And why don't we get Jared involved in this process? We already got a brew started here. Why don't you go ahead and show us what's been going on?
All right, perfect. Okay, so here we have the hot liquor tank. This is where it all starts. Basically, this is just water, but this water is going to eventually become your wort. It passes through the grains here. Right here we're mashing out, so we've got the water kind of squeegeeing through. As the hot water pushes through, it leaves what we're collecting, and we're soon to boil here. We needed to collect 5.5 gallons, and we're at 5.75, so it's just about time to start the brew. So we're gonna let this boil. Once it comes up to a boil, we're at the hop addition. We had one at 60 minutes, 20 minutes, and at flame out. All right, this might be a little hot. Should we get some glasses? All right. This is the wort before we boil it.
The wort?
Yes. And it usually tastes a little like a sweet iced tea. Yeah, like too sweet of an iced tea. But it gives you a good idea of the grain bill, and it should be overly sweet, and the hops are going to balance out those sugars.
It's actually pretty good. I like that more than beer.
Where's the lemonade, right?
Yeah.
So part of the tradition of homebrewing is tasting the ingredients. So we broke out some Galaxy hops here, which we're going to put into our beer, and we're going to give a little bit of a taste before we do that.
All right. So this is pellet form. If you look in there, you'll see it's broken down.
Fingering the hops.
So if you look in here, you'll see it's broken down. We'll see the whole cones on my other table, the Columbus. And you just take a little pinch, kind of twist it up. Little smell, yeah. Different hops have different profiles. Some are real, dank and musty, and some are real citrus. This one I like. It's kind of spicy a little bit.
The Galaxy's got a little spicy, a little citrusy,
earthiness.
yeah, a little earthiness. It's
a little everything.
It's a well-rounded hop.
I don't like it at all. It's nasty.
But can you imagine tasting the the wort, the super sweet, sample with a little of this?
Why can't you just make the beer just like that without putting the hops in it?
It would be so sweet you couldn't drink it. You could drink
It might be
it.
something he liked.
I'm about to say, I might like it.
You might like it. Maybe you invented a new beer right there. Next time you come over, we'll brew that one.
Yeah.
No hops.
Steve, we gotta take off.
Oh,
We got one other place to take Jared before we end the day,
all right.
and I think he's really gonna like it.
I appreciate it.
Where are you guys heading?
Thank you.
We're gonna head off to pair some beer with some food. We're here at Pies and Pints to show Jared just how well beer and food pair together, and hopefully this will be the experience that turns him to craft. Pies and Pints is an Ohio-based restaurant with locations in 4 different states, and they're bringing the gold standard when it comes to craft pizza and craft beer. I'm hoping that this is our final stop, and this is the place where we can convince Jared that he does like craft beer. Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy Fultz.
Jeremy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Hey
you.
Josh, I'm Jared.
Jared, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here at Pies and Pints.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
So we've been taking Jared through a real craft beer experience today, and he's
Okay.
gone through several steps already. We started at a bar, then we went to a brewery, then we did a home brew. And we've gotten Jared to admit a little bit that he likes craft beer so far.
right.
So we figured we can bring him full craft by coming here to Pies and Pints today and doing some amazing beer and food pairing. What do you think about that?
Sounds good to me. So when you look at pairing food with beer, they have a science behind it, but the first thing that I actually tend to do is I want to talk to everybody and see, what do you like to drink and what do you like to eat? For me personally, I absolutely hate cilantro. So I wouldn't ever want to pair something with cilantro in it with somebody who hates cilantro like myself. So I don't make sure if there's any sort of food aversions, any sort of stylistic aversions with beer, that I want to make sure that you're going to enjoy what you're drinking and enjoy what you're eating. The pairing should be something that adds to both the food and the beer. So while there is some science behind it to say, all right, this kind of style of beer, these kind of flavors should go with this kind of food, it's not always necessarily the best thing for an individual person. All right, so we have our first pairing here today, which is our house salad. So basically spring mix, so you've got your greens, you've got your croutons, you've got your cucumbers, your tomatoes, you've got your cheese. Very, very lightly dressed with our house dressing. This is a balsamic-based dressing, and it pairs perfectly with a traditional Bavarian Hefeweizen. So what you have in front of you right here is the Weihenstephan. So just about as classic as you could possibly get. And what you're gonna find is, if you take a bite of the salad by itself, you take a drink of the beer by itself, the beer typically has a lot of clove, some kind of big, crazy banana, bubblegum kind of flavors that you get in the beer that tend to be fairly powerful for a lot of people. You have the acidity, the real bright acidity in the dressing that can also be a little bit too much for some people. And when you pair both of these together, what almost always ends up happening is like this perfect melding of flavors.
See, that flavor's not bad. It's not very bitter, it's not too strong.
So what are you tasting?
I taste a little bit of the hops, but I taste the sweetness too of this one.
All right, so next pairing is going to be one of the most unique beers in the world, which is Orval. So this is a Trappist brewery, which is basically a monastery in Belgium. And all the beer is brewed under the supervision of monks. Orval is essentially the only beer in the world of this very specific style. Orval is the only Orval around the world. This is our rosemary garlic flatbread. So this is a flatbread, and I know it looks like dessert, but it's actually not. So this in the middle is goat cheese, and it's warmed up, it's heated up. The drizzle on top is not chocolate sauce, it's actually a balsamic reduction. And then the bread, our flatbread's got a bunch of rosemary, a bunch of roasted garlic on it. All these really crazy different flavors. You're gonna have 15 flavors on the food side, 15 flavors on the beer side. Oftentimes in your mouth, you pick out one flavor in the food and one flavor in the beer, and all of a sudden one matches and you're just like, holy cow, that is fantastic. That works. One of the other things about these beers, almost every beer from Belgium, as you can see, tons and tons ahead there, the carbonation level is way higher than we find here in the United States. Yeah, or take a bite, get it going in your mouth a little bit, then when you're ready to wet it down, take a drink.
It's really good.
Josh, would you say that when you're pairing beer and food, like the traditional approach to washing food down is an okay one?
Absolutely. Because you're going to get a lot of flavor, you're going to get a lot of flavor aromatically. It's not necessarily just taking a little sip, swishing around, getting into all your different taste buds. I mean, there are a lot of different ways you can get flavor. And I mean, there's a reason why, you know, like Warped Wing makes Trotwood. You know, it's a very easy drinking beer that people can sit there, they can have 1, 2, 3 of without getting intoxicated, and it goes perfectly with a lot of things that you're going to be eating. So I absolutely think washing it down works.
Yeah, I don't like this beer.
All right, so what we have here is our chicken Gouda pizza. This is, like I said earlier, probably the most popular pizza that we have here at this location, and probably one of the top 2 most popular pies that we have at all of our stores in all of our different states. It's going to be paired with one of my personal favorites. This is Rogue's Hazelnut Brown. Year after year after year, this is an award-winning beer. I took some pretty big, rich, hearty flavors in the pizza. You've got the smoked Gouda cheese, you've got the chicken, you've got the bacon, and I paired it with a brown ale that's going to be very, very food-friendly. So it tends to be a pairing that works really well together. Body-wise, there's not a ton of body in this beer, but there's enough to stand up to the pizza. Nope. Easy drinking, but you get the flavors, you get the sweetness, kind of the caramel sweetness from the brown ale, plus the nuttiness from the hazelnuts. It's a pretty good marrying.
I could drink this. This is good. This is a really good pairing.
That works?
Like this. I would order this.
Good. I'm happy. So the final pairing we have is actually a 2-part pairing. You pair a 12% big Imperial, Russian Imperial Stout with a big, crazy, super high fat content, super sweet, really rich dessert. What ends up happening is it's way too much of a good thing in your mouth. And you can have a sample and you can have a couple bites, but that's about it. So what I tend to do and what I like to do is if somebody's getting a dessert, like in this case, it's our peanut butter brownie terrine. So you've got brownies layered with peanut butter, covered in a chocolate ganache. Very rich, very sweet, very decadent. It's going to be really hard to drink 12 ounces of a big Imperial Stout. So what I like to do is get a beer, such as this North Coast Old 38, which is basically their take on like a dry Irish stout. So it's a lot lighter, a little bit thinner stout. You get a lot of the same developed flavors, but you don't get anywhere near as much alcohol, body, or sweetness as you would get in something like this. This is Mad Tree's Axis Mundi. So here in the restaurant, when people order this, try and get them a beer that they can drink throughout the entirety of their dessert, but then get them a sample, a decent sized sample of something really, really good that they're going to be able to take a bite, take a little sip. Oh, wow, that works.
That's really good. It's very rich.
It is very rich.
Matches well, yeah. Yeah, that's really strong.
That's very strong.
Yeah, I don't particularly like either one of these beers. They're too much, too strong, too, I don't know what the word is.
Too malty.
Yeah, too malty.
Okay. So you got to taste some really good food with some world-class beers. What's your impression now?
I gotta admit, I'm a fan of some craft beers now. There were a few today that I really liked, and I think I'm really gonna start ordering when I go out.
Could I say that if I invited you out, the next time I'm gonna go out drinking, that you come with me?
Yeah. If I can try some of the beers find some of the beers that I tried today, yeah.
Well, that sounds good. So I'm gonna take you up on it, right?
Let's do it.
So it might have taken me 3 tries, but I think we snagged one today. And I think what we really learned was, it's really just about the experience. And if you actually get somebody to partake in it, they might just enjoy it. So if you got somebody that's really turned off by craft beer or just won't try it, maybe you should give us a shout and we'll get them on Turning Craft.